Chapter 2 of the book of Genesis gives us a second account of creation, and this, of course, is the creation of humankind, man, Adam, and woman, Eve. Now, the chapter 2 story isn't a different story. It's just a repetition of the first story with an emphasis that is no longer on the 7-day organization of creation, but rather it becomes topical. And the emphasis is the creation of humankind. In chapter 2 of Genesis, where the story becomes topical, what we learn is more about God and how that he is personal and he cares and he is intimate with us. We are told that he creates a garden, and you can imagine what that garden must have sounded like to people who first heard these stories, for they were living in arid and desert-like conditions. And yet we talk about this beautiful, lush garden, well-watered. God created men and women to be part of this garden. And he placed them in the garden so that they would be the receiver of his bounty, and they would be caretakers of all the beauty, the animals, the plants, the world around them. And the whole story of chapter 2 is to show us that God is personal, that God cares, that God is intimate. And most importantly, chapter 2 teaches us that he made humans in his image. Now, that doesn't mean that we look like God, because of course God is invisible, but it means that we have the ability to reason, the ability to make rational choices, the ability to see right and wrong. We have intellectual abilities that are far beyond any other creature that God created. And that makes us very, very special. And it's one of the reasons why it's important to hold all human life sacred. And so chapter 2 is really quite straightforward. God created humans in his image, but he also gave them one rule. There was a tree in the center of the garden, and God said, you can use anything you want in the garden. You can manage anything you want in the garden, but whatever you do, do not eat the fruit of this tree. And I might point out, we don't know that it's an apple, it's just a fruit. But we all know the story. The serpent came, Satan came and tempted Eve and then Adam, and they both ate from the tree that they were commanded not to eat from. And when that happened, God took away the world that was full of beauty and ease. He removed it, and he replaced it with a world of work and trouble, pain and sin. And that is the world that we inherit today. And so the whole point of chapter 2 is that we are made in God's image, therefore there are consequences for our actions.